And now, Move the Sticks with Daniel Jeremiah and Bucky Brooks.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Move the Sticks. DJ Buck with you. Buck, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm good, DJ. It is now, the countdown is on because, as you know, in our line of work, once you get to the 4th of July, it is now a downhill run to training camp and all that other stuff. So the 4th of July, when you work in the front office, that's when you always have your fingers crossed. You want to make sure that none of your players get in trouble or any incidents. It appears that we kind of went through the league unscathed. And so now you start to set your eyes to the 20th, 19th, 20th, when everyone is beginning to report back to camp. So we can have it. A lot of fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's definitely a fun time of year. I've talked in the past about how much I enjoy the magazine season. Like you get a chance to get those magazines, those preview magazines, to read them and everything. I also got to say, man, there's so many cool resources now. I just wanted to highlight two of them here as we kind of starting. But two of the guys that I think are two of the smartest people in the football space, and I know you're familiar with both. But Dan Casey, who does his play of the day and all that stuff on social media, it's phenomenal. He sent me his new little book he's got here. Which is awesome. It's just trends in offensive football. You kind of scroll through it. And again, he didn't ask me to do any of this promo for you. I'm just kind of showing you what a cool idea it is. Like, he'll show you some of like the hot new plays. So he'll diagram them for you, but then he's got a QR code. So you can just scan the QR code and you can watch a video of it to kind of see, some of the latest trends and what's going on in offensive football. So if you're kind of a football nerd, for my little book recommendations, I'll give you that one. That would be the first one. The next one I would give you, how about this meaty book here from our friend Warren Sharp? I mean, Buck, look at how thick this thing is.
That is crazy.
Look at this thing. I mean, it is just chock full of information. You talk about deep analytical dives based off of, efficiency for these teams, based off tendencies, based off schedules. He's got every area covered, heat maps, you name it. So if you're, again, these are like, we're football nerds. These are football nerd type books. So I would encourage you guys to be on the lookout for those. Great little summer reading, something to get you kind of going as we get ready for the start of the season, Buck.
Look, man, it's coming fast. Like you, I love reading all the preview stuff. Like, it kind of helps you kind of pass the times, gives you a little knowledge. And then we've talked about the college football stuff, getting ready, even though NIL and the transfer portal has changed a lot of that. You do like to see who are the movers and shakers, who are the guys that you're expecting to break out as we get to the college football season.
No doubt. Buck, it's time for Hot or Not, brought to you by Wasabi Hot Cloud Storage. I'm going to get to some NFL stuff that went down while we were away, including, basically we're going to hit on that big Pittsburgh-Miami swap of some big name players. So we're going to get to the NFL side of things. I also want to hit on some college quarterbacks. I've had a chance to dig in and watch a little bit, get your thoughts on some of that stuff. But as we start off here, again, it's Hot or Not time, brought to you by Wasabi Hot Cloud Storage. I was thinking about how college football is turning into professional football. We've got a salary cap. We've got revenues that's being, divvied up amongst players. It's pro sports. It is what it is, that we're there. So I was thinking, if we're going to start adopting a lot of the similarities from the NFL game down to the college game, I was just thinking about this the other day. What do you think about preseason? Give me a preseason college game. Doesn't count towards your record, but just a preseason game.
I mean, I would like that. Look, I would like to see what Coach Prime and Fran Brown were brewing on in spring ball. I think we have to be in that lane, because you have to have a reason to tune in. If you're not going to have spring ball as it is, you got to give me something, DJ. Joint practices, something.
But forget the spring. Let's do it now. Like, we're getting ready to go out to training camps, and we're going to see joint practices. We're going to see teams working together as we get towards the start of the season. So if we basically turn college football into pro football, why don't we just do that? To me, that's a great way, versus having your inter squad scrimmage in front of an empty stadium. You might be able to sell out the stadium and say, hey, we're going to get some good work in here with another team in a different conference.
Well, yeah. Well, like, look, there's nothing. You always hear coaches talk about, you don't know your team until you get 3-4 games in. Mm-hmm. If you start having a preseason game, that helps you as a coach to at least know some of the guys that you thought could play may not be able to play. Some of the guys you didn't think could play, maybe they play better. But it gives you like some real hard information. So now when we go to the season opener, at least we have a better feel for our team, because they haven't done anything. They haven't done anything the entire offseason but go good on good, their own versus their own. So it can be misleading in terms of you thinking that your team is better or worse than it is. A preseason game, a scrimmage, whatever we want to call it, it gives you a chance to make some solid assessments on your squad.
I wonder, again, if we talk about things being similar from the NFL and the college level, we've always talked about the paranoia of coaches. Is this something where you think it's, hey, I don't want to expose maybe this redshirt kid to another school to see how good he
Oh,
is, and then I got to
100%.
play defense at the portal? I wonder if that factors into it.
I mean, it does factor into it, but that can't be a part of your decision making. We got to understand what it is. Like, you can't be afraid. Either your kid is going to stay because he loves what you're doing, loves the relationship you have with him, loves the program, or not. I mean, the money's going to be the money, and sometimes the money is too good to pass up, so it doesn't matter. I don't think you can hide people in today's age. Like, there's just too much access, cameras, videos that
Kids
folks
are sending schools and sending agents their practice clips.
it's already out there. So I think the days of you trying to stash somebody away, yeah, you can forget about that. Everyone knows everybody.
All right, just to wrap up this quick one, though. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Preseason. Let's go one preseason game for college football. Would you be thumbs up or thumbs down?
Oh, I'm thumbs up on it. Like, anytime I get a chance to see more football, I want to do it. And DJ, I would say bump the calendar up for college football. And so I think they started last week. Let's move this to the 15th of August, somewhere in that week. So we have the preseason game. Give us 2 weeks. Then we need to kick that thing off.
Yeah.
Like, it needs to kick off. Preseason game, 2 weeks to look, evaluate, make some adjustments and changes. Then we need to kick this thing off. Everyone needs to kick off around the same time.
Yeah, I like it. I just think it'd be fun. Again, if we're going to kind of go the professional model and we're already so far down that road, let's embrace some of the other things that make some sense. That one would work for me. That was this week's Hot or Not segment, brought to you by Wasabi Hot Cloud Storage. Store more and do more with your data. Try them for free at wasabi.com. Mentioned the trade, Buck. Your thoughts? Jalen Ramsey, he goes from Miami to Pittsburgh. Minkah Fitzpatrick goes from Pittsburgh to Miami. Jonnu Smith, also a part of that deal. He ends up reuniting with Arthur Smith, pairing up there with Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
DJ, to me, this is about the Miami Dolphins resetting their culture. People are talking about the money and the cap implications, those things. I think the moves that they made in the offseason have little to do with that and more to do with getting the right people in the locker room. I think Mike McDaniel wants to make sure that he has a team that he not only feels good about in terms of how they perform, but more so like, hey, man, who is the team that I can lose with? Meaning, hey, if it doesn't go right, do I have the right guys in the locker room that I think I can pull our team out of because everyone is pulling the boat in the right direction? I think this was a part of it. Jalen Ramsey, who is a mercenary at this stage of his career, he kind of goes from team to team, helps them play at another level. But it can be a lot to deal with in the locker room. To me, it appeared that it's run a course. They needed to move on. And this was a great opportunity for them to move on and get back a player who, by all accounts, Minkah Fitzpatrick is an A1 player in the locker room, good player on the field. He will help their defense go to the next level. So to me, it was a fair swap. And now the Jonnu Smith piece, it's going to hurt them losing him, but they weren't going to pay Jonnu Smith what he wanted, so it makes sense to get rid of him.
All right, let me hit you up on this side of it. So if we go to Minkah Fitzpatrick, let's start there on that end. You're right, by all accounts, and this is what he was coming out in terms of the character, leadership, like pros pro. That was kind of his calling card. But I'm curious where you sit on, if we're just going to go production, Buck. I mean, because you start looking at these years, like let's just go to 2019 in Pittsburgh. That's his first year in Pittsburgh. 5 picks. Next year, 4 picks, then 2 picks, then 6 picks. That gets you to 2022. Buck, if you look at 23 and 24, now he's played 27 games. He only played 10 games in 23, but just go on production. No picks in 23, 1 pick in 24 behind a pass rush that is pretty good. I mean, they've got guys that can get home and all that. So safety wise, I know, look, some of it's dependent. Your production is never going to be it's not going to be a flat line. There's going to be ups and downs, but 1 pick in 2 years, Buck, is that worrisome?
I mean, it's worrisome because he's been such a turnover magnet early in his career. It's not only the interceptions, it's forced fumbles, fumble recoveries, just always being active and around it. He hasn't been as active as you would like to see him. That said, his value to me in Miami is as the traffic cop, getting people lined up, doing all the things, the high IQ stuff he can handle. But more importantly, the person that he was coming out of Alabama when Nick Saban raved about his leadership and his preparation process and all of those things, for the Miami Dolphins, they just need a greater sense of professionalism in the locker room. Minkah Fitzpatrick is going to do that. And in a system where Anthony Weaver and Joe Barry are trying to do a little more see ball, get ball, those numbers may spike again in terms of the interception numbers, his ability to pick things off tips and overthrows. I look for him to get back to playing at that Pro Bowl, All-Pro level down in Miami.
Yeah, no, it'll be a good opportunity for him there. When I look at that Dolphins team, it's just kind of, I get the leadership side of it. I just look at it. It's kind of I don't want to use the phrase hodgepodgey, but like just trying to see how this whole thing's going to fit together, man. Like they need to stay healthy up front and start there, but just trying to see how this whole puzzle piece fits together. I'm just not sure.
The funny thing is they may be a lesser talented team, but maybe a better team in terms of like all of the parts fitting together. Because right now, when we're looking, Tyreek Hill is probably the only outlier personality-wise in that locker room. Now it appears that they have more guys that are kind of like-minded, more kind of team first. Not saying that Tyreek Hill isn't a team first guy, but like they're more in that same vein. So maybe for them, it is better to take a step back and move away from some of the stars and have a better team. Where it gets tricky to me, Pittsburgh. DJ, Pittsburgh is different because we've seen Mike Tomlin work with a bunch of unique personalities and those things, and they've had a level of success. But DJ, this kind of harkens back to the personalities that he had with Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, Ben Roethlisberger, like that era, the Killer Bee era. They're kind of back to that. DK Metcalf, Jalen Ramsey. I thought they had a little thing going when the Rams and the Seahawks played. I thought they went back and forth a little bit in terms of being testy. Then you throw Aaron Rodgers into that mix. You have some other players in that. This locker room is more, it's always been combustible, but it's more combustible now on the surface than we've ever seen it.
I think this is my at least outside in look at Pittsburgh. If you look at Pittsburgh a couple years ago, okay, I know they're over 500 every year, but I thought they kind of lost their identity a little bit. You remember the offensive line was not good. They weren't physical like they had traditionally been. And then I look at them over the last couple years. Buck, when I was in Baltimore, we used to talk about building a bully. That was like one of our lines that we used. And if you look at it, I mean, just from the pieces they've brought in over the last couple years, and included in that, I would put DK Metcalf, who might be the biggest bully wide receiver in the NFL. I mean, throw him into that mix. Jalen Ramsey is literally he is an old school bully. That's who he is. Like, he is going to try and get in your face, and he's got an edge to him. There's kind of a little bit of a fighter spirit into him. I look along, when you invest in the offensive line with these first round picks with Broderick Jones, Troy Fautanu, like those are physical, guys. Zach Frazier is a center who's good, one of the best young centers in the NFL already, coming off his rookie year. Wrestler, kind of a bully mentality. Buck, they have the largest tight end in the NFL. He could be on the verge of being the largest tight end in NFL history in Darnell Washington. Like, I don't know what he weighs, but I would guess well north over 300 pounds. Like, so they're kind of assembling all the pieces that they've kind of added. Now, Jonnu Smith is going to be kind of their move guy, can do a lot of different things, really productive. But there's a lot of bullies on that team they've added in the last couple of years.
So DJ, my dad was a longtime high school coach, and I think I've shared this with you. He always talked about, and you got to understand, like, you talk about your dad and the word, and my dad of the word deacon in the church, like very right down the thing. But there's something that he believes when it comes to football, Dad. And he'll say, like, hey, man, you ain't gonna win no championships until you got a couple of those guys with their hats on sideways. He said, you can't have too many of them, but you got to have a couple where the hat is a little cocked to the side, and you got to rein them in a little bit. And what I'm hearing you say is that Pittsburgh had gotten away from that. And then when I started thinking, as you were talking, I started thinking about not only the Tomlin days, but I thought thinking about the Cowher days.
Yeah.
Harrison and Ferry.
Edgy.
Larry Foote. And they had some of those guys that you'd be like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. And I've heard you say, it's a lot easier to say whoa than giddy up.
100%.
And maybe, as we're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers, maybe they're not as quote unquote talented where they can overwhelm you. So maybe they're like, our edge is our toughness, our tenacity, and that little extra thing that we bring to the field that we're going to make you go to the dark place. And I thought it coincides a little bit with Jalen Ramsey releasing that video and the old Steelers where you conjure up those old images of Mel Blount and how those teams. There is something too, when the Pittsburgh Steelers have always been good, DJ, as a coach, you kind of have to turn your back a little bit like, I didn't see that, ref. I'm sorry. I didn't,
Yeah. I mean, this feels to me like you're going to have Slay, who they brought in on one side. I think Joey Porter Jr. will be on the other, and then Jalen's going to be your big nickel. And guess what happens when you want to dictate all your protection over to TJ Watt? Well, man, they've got some other pass rushers that can get home now, and now you add Jalen Ramsey as a potential blitzer into the mix. Like, that's kind of fun. It's kind of fun how they've assembled this group. And
they always love the me against the world.
Oh yeah.
They love playing that thing. They love closing the door and being like, hey guys, everybody thinks that y'all gonna suck.
Yeah, 100%. You know what I'm looking at? I'm now looking at some of these names. So if we're gonna go with Pittsburgh, build the bully, right? Derek Harmon, big physical defensive tackle. Y.A. Black, the DT, who's like 345 pounds out of Iowa, massive. Jack Sawyer, we would literally describe Jack Sawyer as a bully on the edge. Even going and getting Carson Bruner, his dad's there in Pittsburgh, in the 7th round, tough linebacker from Washington. Like they kind of went after those. Even Caleb Johnson, big, fast, physical back. I think there's definitely, you can see a theme that they've gone for here, both in free agency, the draft, and in this trade.
Yeah, going back and forth. And so this brings me to the point, because there were a lot of people that were surprised. Omar Khan signs a 3-year extension, right? They have Mike Tomlin on their thing. So for all of the people that are saying like, the Steelers on the hot seat or whatever, to me, I think they've doubled down. And there's a belief in that thing that our process and what we're doing is kind of how we want to make sure that our team is there. So that's why I feel like they're emboldened by the fact that they're going to get back to playing bully ball, to being that team that is very edgy, you don't really want to deal with. And I can say this personally, and it's funny because I was playing for the Green Bay Packers at the time. There used to be a thing when you played the Pittsburgh Steelers that, hey man, it's Steelers week. And everyone knew when you just uttered that, you knew what kind of game you were in for. It appears that the Pittsburgh Steelers are trying to make sure that they bring that brand of ball back to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, no, I get it. And to me, there's something to be said for no such thing as right vision or wrong vision. It's either you have a vision or you don't have a vision. There's a lot of different ways to get to the finish line. But I think if you look at teams that are successful versus those that aren't, usually it's just they have a clear-cut image of who they are and they build their team accordingly. And I feel like whether or not this results in the Steelers, making some deep playoff run, I feel like they kind of are who they are. Like they know what they're about, and they've kind of gotten back to that.
They know who they are. They understand their brand. And what I love about them, right or wrong, they don't deviate from their beliefs. They're very convicted in their process. They're very convicted in the stability they display by staying with coaches and general managers over an extended period. And they believe that their brand ultimately leads to success. So hats off to them. We always talk about conviction in the scouting world. The Pittsburgh Steelers and what they're doing, to me, this offseason shows they're convicted in terms of their approach and their process.
One of the little conversations we need to have going forward on a future pod is our favorite one-on-ones we're looking forward to in training camp. I mean, DK and Jalen Ramsey going against each other, it's got to be, as you mentioned, some history there. That's got to be up near the top of the list of one-on-ones you'd be looking forward to watching.
You know how crazy that's going to be? Like how competitive.
Hey, big play Slay's not afraid to get in there either. Like that's going to be fun.
Now think about that. Also think about, we always talk about the zookeeper, the guy that Barnum Bailey Circus, and you know how you had the guy that kind of gets the circus going.
Yeah.
There's not a better person to poking the bear and stoking the flame than Mike Tomlin. So that one-on-one period when it's DK taking on Jalen and some of these other things, and then you got the pass rush one-on-ones and all that.
Oh, by the way, the guy throwing the football.
Oh, yeah. Look.
Think there'll be some eyeballs on that at all?
Yeah, poke the bear a little bit, talk about him. 41 years old. They say you don't have it anymore. All of the motivational stuff that you want to have, DJ, it's made for TV. A little hard knocks behind the scenes. Like, that'd be real good. Real good in Pittsburgh if they were able to get that access this year.
No question. All right, Buck, it's that time of year. Been knocking out some college guys. And, I think we talked about Drew Aller earlier from Penn State. Had watched him to summarize that. The good's good, the bad's bad. Like, there's kind of some high highs and low lows there. Want to see him level out and be a little more consistent coming up this next year on a Penn State team that, is positioned to go after a national championship. I mentioned he kind of reminded me of Flacco just in terms of the arm strength and similar type athletes. Need to see their receivers get a little bit better too. They went after that in the portal. So that was Aller. Then I go from Aller to Nussmeier. Nussmeier, son of a coach there at LSU, waited his turn, very patient, not a big guy, 6'005", 204. So under 6'1", under 205 pounds. Kind of gave me like in that family of quarterbacks, like the Andy Dalton, like Purdy, Romo, style of quarterback. So I think we had discussed him a little bit. Interesting player. The two that I've done since then, though, Cade Klubnik from Clemson. He is 6'014", so 6'1.5", 204 pounds. I talked to Rhett. Rhett was at the Manning camp, and Klubnik was there. Rhett's going to join us on the next episode later this week to go over all the quarterback stuff that he was able to collect there from the Manning camp, as he does each and every year. So he thought Klubnik looked like he'd put on some weight. So this, good weight. This is in the spring. He was 204, so maybe he's a little bit bigger now. But doing him, watching Clemson, Clemson's got a lot of good players. It's good. It's a good football team. I think they're going to be really good this year, especially because I have heard a lot of good things about the defensive side of the ball. Haven't studied those guys yet. But watching Klubnik, Buck, I don't know. I just didn't see a lot of horsepower, like a lot of big time velocity there. I thought he was somebody that, he's quick. He's got quick feet. He's a good athlete. You see him run the Pitt game. He has a 50-yard touchdown run to kind of win the game late in that ball game. He can buy time. He has a lot of tight window throws, which I'd never thought about this before until going through this exercise with him. I'm watching it and I question his arm strength. I have issues with whether he's going to be able to fit balls in tight windows at the next level. And it's the first time I've ever thought of the stat, because now with PFF Ultimate and all that, they keep these stats. So he's got a high percentage. He's got good numbers on tight window throws. But I thought about, there's two different types of tight window throws. There's a tight window that someone with a big arm can squeeze a ball into a tight window. Then there's larger windows that when the ball lacks a little life to it, as the ball gets there, those larger windows shrink. So technically you're talking about two tight window throws. They're not the same. I've never really thought about separating that stat and not just taking it at face value.
Well, DJ, we always used to talk in the scouting business about throwing a guy open. And part of throwing a guy open is really being able to fit the ball, as you would say, throwing it in the mailbox. Fitting it in the mailbox is such a tight window that you can fit it in there. And the guy is not open separation-wise, but he's open because the ball placement is so ideal. You almost have to have that as a skill in today's game. The defenders are so fast. The coverage is so sticky. And as more teams in the NFL in particular are transitioning to zone, vision, and break-based things, you got to be able to beat them with the ball, because the defenders are playing your eyes and they're breaking before you even throwing. So your ball has to have some RPMs to be able to get into those lanes. And so when we talk about Cade and some of the other quarterbacks, I do believe in a year where we're projecting kind of like a number of quarterbacks entering with first round talent potential, DJ, the physical tools, they're going to be the separating factor between some of the guys at the top of the board. Who has those prototypical traits that you check off the box physically that they must have to be successful in the league, when we're comparing them to the guys that you must beat to be able to win the championship?
Yeah, no, it's absolutely the truth, and I'm just curious to see, has he gotten physically stronger? We've seen guys' arm strength get stronger. We've talked about it even with Brock Purdy, who we mentioned a little bit earlier, how his arm got stronger. So just keeping an eye on that. He's got some other issues where he'll get some tip balls. Just needs to do a better job trying to find lanes. But he's got really nice touch over the top. He can buy some time. A lot of fade balls, both from the slot and on the outside. Again, Clemson's got a good team. Excited to see them this year. They bookend their season. I think they open with LSU, and then they finish up as they always do with South Carolina. So two big SEC opponents there to kind of sandwich their season.
And the only thing to think about Cade is he now has an opportunity to go against someone who could be competing with when it comes to the draft. You think about him playing, but Lenore Sellers from South Carolina.
That gets me to my next point. So I've watched in order Aller, Nussmeier, Klubnik. I still have to do. I'm going to watch all Arch's stuff next week, so that'll come out next week. I watched Lenore Sellers. He was fourth in line for me to watch, so I watched him. Now this post has not come up yet. It'll be coming out on NFL.com, I believe, in a couple days. So I still have to write it up. But I'll give you a quick spoiler alert on that one, Buck. One of these is not like the others. Holy moly. Like I was 15 plays in on Lenore Sellers, and I was like, okay, that's I know we're not supposed to talk about how high these guys can go, but this is he's a one suit player. If you've listened to the show over the years, for those that might be interested in attending the draft, need a backup suit.
He's a carry-on guy.
Yeah,
he's not whatever. Like, hey, you're not gonna be here for long. This is a one-day trip, right? And if we could tell you to take a duffel bag, this is gonna be a quick one, in and out.
Guys can always get better or worse, and we've seen guys. But I'm just telling you, like, if you want to talk about baseline toolkits, like Buck, I don't know if this guy can build the house, but he's got every tool in his bag and on his car to be able to build you one nice house, because the tools are all there. And this is someone who is big. He's listed at 6'3", 240. I don't have official measurements on him. He looks big. I was kind of shocked. Just, I thought, okay, this is going to be kind of a raw athlete. I was talking to his director of player personnel with the playoff team the other day, and he was like, do you think that Anthony Richardson's struggles will scare teams off? I'm like, nah, I don't think they're alike at all. Like this guy has played more football. He's played more football. He's a quarterback. Like you watch him, his feet and his eyes are connected. Like some of the quarterbacky things you look for. Somebody's like, oh, it's an athlete. It's kind of loosey-goosey. This guy's pretty buttoned up. Now, it made me happy because Dow Loggins had coached him as now the head coach at App State.
I remember we talked to him about him.
Yes, he's got NFL pedigree, NFL a lot of NFL experience with Dow Loggins. So he's been coached really well. Coach Beamer's done a nice job there, kind of overseeing this whole thing. But this kid, Buck, he's got a nice tight release. It's compact. The ball is spinning. I'd love to see him throw live. And we'll ask Red about him because I think he was at Manning Camp too. But he can spin it. He's got a nice clock about him. Like, again, that's a difference with Anthony Richardson. Some of the instinctual stuff, this guy's way more instinctual with how he sees it and what he does. And then, oh, by the way, you want to run quarterback power and do all that stuff? Sure. Like the comp, and I'll go through some other names, and I'm going to watch a little bit more on them before I officially write this. But I played against Dante Culpepper in college, and he reminded me of a faster Dante Culpepper. That's a pretty lofty praise.
And I think people have to understand the pre-injury.
He could roll.
Was a monster. And so that's really hefty praise on a young player like Sellers. But I will say this, when we're evaluating, particularly in today's game, and we're using the muses of the elite players at the position, the elite players have plus tools in some capacity. They have a superpower that is ridiculous, that you have to put that out there, whether it's Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Like, they have a legitimate superpower that separates them from others. When you look at Sellers, he has tools that you can see growing into the superpower range. And his physicality and toughness as a runner, his presence and playmaking ability inside and outside the pocket, he just has the it thing. And DJ, when you talk to young people about scouting and you try to tell them, like, Look, man, it shouldn't be that hard. There should be a wow factor that you feel right away. You said within 15 plays of watching him, you were like, oh, yeah, I know he's in that day one category. I don't know where, but just watching, I feel he has that wow factor. I don't have to talk myself into it. That's how it should be. So he's starting at a point this year where your eyeballs are on him like, man, if he makes a couple of improvements here, we're talking about someone that an elite prospect and a quarterback class that should be loaded with talented players.
Yeah, I mean, it's up to him to kind of raise the floor. The ceiling is as high as you're going to get, man. Like he has got an incredibly high ceiling. So now just getting more consistent. But I'm telling you, man, like just from what I've seen already, this is a quarterback. This is a quarterback with the freaky, explosiveness, size, athleticism, all that stuff. And oh, by the way, when I text Dow about him, and Dow probably wouldn't this, not to be on the record, but it was, I don't see what the big deal is. I was like, hey, tell me, I just watched Sellers, like, holy crap, like he is light years better than all these other guys that I've been watching. And he wrote back and said he is incredibly smart and he loves football. And if you want to talk about the quarterback stuff that you care about, Buck, I think that might be number 1 and number 2 on the list.
Look, man, DJ, and we've seen it more and more. We talked about people having categories. Do you love it? Like we're at the point now where you have to have the love it guys with NIL and all the other stuff. Like
there was an article out that said he turned down like $8 million in the portal, which I believe it would have been money well spent if somebody could have got him.
Yeah. So being able to distinguish who loves it and who likes it because of all the stuff around, man, you want the worker bees, man. You want the guys that love all the parts of the process. That is the stuff that really, really matters.
Yeah, it's just fun this time of year, man, because it's like new packages that you're opening up. You peek at people when you're doing other players, but until you sit down and study them, you don't really know. And again, I've seen, there's been examples of guys you get super fired up about and they go into their last year and like, man, what happened? So he still got to go out there and play. But I was excited. It was kind of fun. It's a little pick me up, a little coffee without the coffee when you're watching somebody like that.
A little coffee without the coffee. I like it.
Yeah. How are we feeling, by the way, as we sit here? What are we? We're July 8th with the Tar Heels. What are we thinking with the group this year?
Interesting. Having gone back there a few weeks ago, official visit weekend. It was interesting sitting down talking to Coach Belichick, all the people in the front office. They're optimistic about the turnover in the team that they have, but no one knows. Like, I will say that they are noticeably different than the team that I saw in April. They're much bigger. They're trying to follow behind the model of building an SEC/Big Ten team because ultimately that's who you're going to have to get through. I don't know, man. I think through coaching and manipulation, I think you're talking about 8 is the magic number of wins, and then maybe they surprise. But look, I think there's some optimism, some quiet optimism that they can be much better than people think.
Who do we got here?
I mean, the schedule might do them some favors. I mean, they have some games that you would like to think they can steal a couple. I know they played TCU very early in the season.
I pulled it up right here. Here we go. We are going to kick it off with TCU, then Charlotte, then Richmond, then UCF, which has got a full makeover, as they Scott Frost. So you could easily be 1, 2, 3,
I don't know,
4.
man. Like there's some tough games right there.
You could be 4-0.
I don't know.
I mean, I bet you this: if you're 4-0 and you're playing Clemson October 4th, I don't know what other college football games are on October 4th, but I would think you might be. That might be a game day type.
Game day game. Yeah,
I'm gonna pull it. I'm pulling it up right now. Here, hold up, because I want to see the other games October 4th. Let me just see who you're up against for game day for that time. Texas, Florida could give you some fight there. Wisconsin, Michigan's a good one.
But we're always there. We're always at Michigan. We're always there. Like it might be.
I think that one's fun. Clemson, North. I mean, you got Miami, Florida State, but that just is not what it used to be. Buck, I think I might call my shot there as I'm looking at the rest of these games. Nothing else is jumping out at me. Scrolling. Kentucky, Georgia's a good game. Buck, you're going to be, that's it. I'll call my shot right there. I'm going to say the Tar Heels are going to be 4-0 going up against a 4-0 Clemson. Clemson might be number 2 in the country, maybe number 3 in the country at that point in time. And it's going to be, can Carolina slay the Giant? Game day, October 4th.
I've been conditioned. Can we just get better today? I'm just worried about it. I can't even think that far in advance. I don't even know about the record. Like, we're just trying to get better. We can be competitive versus TCU. Then we just kind of see what it looks like.
Charlotte just smacks a taste out of your mouth. And all
we just got to be competitive. I just want us to be competitive. Good thing we got App State off the schedule. I just didn't want to have to deal with that anxiety and all that other stuff.
I'm hoping we're back. I put in my request, by the way, so they've got my. One of the things I love doing during this time of year is there's no better workout gear for those that don't know than team issued workout gear. It's just better quality than the stuff you can buy at Dick's Sporting Goods or wherever else. So I reach out to a couple of my buddies from schools and have them I need some new workout shorts, some dry fits.
The Messiah gets whatever he wants. I'm sure you get all kinds of stuff. You probably are able to request, hey, do I want yellow? Do I want black? Hey, maybe give me
but I don't just do it with app because I like to, I represent a lot of our buddies around. Drink sent me a nice package from Missouri. So I got a lot of Missouri stuff. I got my buddy Mark Robinson at Georgia that he'll hook me up. I've got my friends at Alabama. He'll send me some Alabama stuff, but like some good workout shorts there. That's all you're looking for. It gets a little hot this time of year.
I know. Like, how's that golf game? I know we were into it.
Played yesterday. I tell you what, man, what's hard and frustrating about this thing is there's high highs, like some great shots, just surrounded by some of the most miserable shots. And I keep thinking the longer that I play, I'm going to start minimizing the bad shots. Not necessarily the case, but I have this sickness where when I'm in the round, I'm not a throw the clubs like guy. I'm not like that, but I get frustrated. I'm very frustrated, maybe some negative self-talk. And then by the time the car pulls into the house, I'm like, but that 6-iron I hit, when we were 200 out, like that was just, it's there. Somehow it's just tucked in there. But I got to tell you, it is a feel versus real sport where you think one thing and then like you see video when you get video taken. Like I was playing with my buddy. I just shank one and he had video me without me knowing it from behind. He's like, look where you're lined up. What are you doing? Like the hole's this way. You're lined up this way. And I'm like, it doesn't feel like I'm lined up that way. But you saw the video. I'm like, I can't argue with this video. What am I doing?
I was playing with my buddies down in Jacksonville. And
how'd you do?
And I hadn't played in forever. At least I was able to hit it. I think I may have gone through the full box of balls, but that's neither here nor there. But it was fun to play. And DJ, like I'm just in this thing because to be good, you got to dedicate the time. You got to you really got to focus on the practice. And even though the practice is not necessarily on the range, but around the putting green, right? Because if you can get good at chipping and putting I just don't have the discipline to do that yet. But it was fun going out. And when I see these guys playing different tracks, right? Because all my buddies play. I got my buddy Dave Kinsey. Man, I just played a great track. God, I was like, maybe I need to.
It is fun. I like going out to different. I like
but then I think DJ, like, how much fun could it be to like have to move the sticks, kind of like just kind of move around just go all over like little places. Like, hey, we kind of want to do the pod from your thing and play around and kind of do some stuff. I feel like we can kind of we can kind of make that happen. I know David Singer can kind of work on some of that.
Singer's a golfer. So we can, yes, I like what you're. Hey, we promote the club a little bit. Maybe get some free swag and a free round of golf.
Right. We put it on YouTube in the background. You know what I'm saying? And just kind of swing away.
Yeah. Oh man, I tell you what though, but here's the thing. When I watch professional golf and I see these guys that can't consistently keep it in the fairway, what the heck chance do I have? I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, we're just trying to hit it right down.
But then there's no worse feeling. This is the last golf thought of the day. The worst feeling for me, I don't know if it is for you. It's like when I try and do the responsible, smart thing. Not going to take the hybrid out. I'm not going to hit driver. Let's just be smart. Never works ever. And then I just go, what the heck? I might as well just swing away, man. I might as well just hero or zero this thing. If I'm gonna pull a snap with a hybrid, I might as well just take the driver.
You try to play the smart way. Hey, I'm gonna be a little conservative. What I'm gonna do? Hey, I'm gonna take my medicine. I put it in the woods. I'm just gonna punch it out, and then you punch out a dribbler. And then you waste a stroke.
It was a shorter par 4. It was a 365 yard par 4, right? 365. hit a drive. I hit it right where I wanted to hit. I'm 80 yards in.
Oh, we're
So
playing. We're thinking about birdie. Like, hey, I'll just
oh,
get
up and down for birdie. I'm in a great spot, except my chip flies the green, and then I chip it too long coming over. I took a bogey. But I'm like, what a waste. What a waste. We were playing a little 2v2 scramble the other day, and my buddy that we play with is unbelievable. He's a phenomenal golfer. So he's like a stupid plus handicap. So we're on a drivable par 4. It's gosh, I don't even remember what it was. It might have been like 3. It was short. It was like 330 maybe, but he's got unbelievable power. So he smashes it. Buck, he's 5-6 feet. Drove the green 5 or 6 feet. He's going to tap in for eagle. Me and my buddy playing against him and his friend, him and his brother. Him and his brother both miss the 5-foot putt. So I proceeded to call him Deshaun Jackson for the rest of the tournament, because I was like, man, you returned the punt to the 1 yard line. All you got to do is hold on to it. You just set it on the ground.
You got to score. We got to put it in.
Yeah, so they're like, oh, you're settling for field goals again, huh? Is that what we're doing here? We're just settling for field goals? Man,
now, this is a golf thought, but I gotta ask you this. I saw our colleague, our buddy, James Slater, posting pictures down in San Diego at Padres games.
I was at the game she was at.
Did you hook up the tickets? Because I saw she had access. I know you missed the Padre. Did you?
No. She's tight. She knows AJ Preller, the GM, from when he was in Texas. He used to work for the Rangers. Yeah.
Okay. Because
so I found out we were on ITC together at the Cowboys camp last year, and we were both texting him. And I was like, "What do you know?" I just have AJ Preller with him. I was like, I'm just communicating with him that she knows him. I know him. So anyway, it's kind of a weird thing. So she posts this picture. So then I sent a picture for where I was, like around first base. I'm like, "Are you here?" And she's like, "Yeah." But it was kind of they're sold, as the Padres do. We sell out every night, so it was very crowded. And I'm with my family, she's with her friends, so we didn't get a chance to say hello or not. But
it looked like a fun time. It looked like a fun time.
And, not a big day game. I'm not a big day game guy. Yeah,
no,
it's a little hot.
Yeah, I mean the Dodgers are getting absolutely mollywopped by the Astros.
They lost again. They got smoked. The Dodgers are an interesting case because they're the best team in baseball. I mean, quite honestly, and they've got all these injuries, but they just punt on games. I'm curious to see the strategy of how this pays off, because Dave Roberts just be like, "Hey, we're going to lose this game." They've lost. I think they've lost 5 games by 10 runs this year for a team that's like the best team in baseball. But like once they sees that it's going south, hey, we aren't playing anybody. Get everybody out, put our scrub pitchers in there, get our starters out of the game. Like they just punt it.
Whether about 1 or 100. I mean, it's almost like I used to see Steve Kerr do this with the Warriors. Like, hey, we're going to play. I'm going to give you the first 2 minutes of the fourth. If it's not going our way,
we're out. Yeah.
We're out. It doesn't.
Yeah, they literally just punt games.
You don't get bonus points for beating
us.
But I mean,
like, part of me is like, does that, and maybe you just out talent people, but like, I would think, like, I think it from a football standpoint, there's that kind of grit that you're kind of building of like, hey, we're down, we're not out, we're going to fight back. Like, even if we come back and we lose 6-5, like, we're kind of building up this like never quit gritty culture. Maybe baseball just not like that. I don't know,
but that is the thing. Like, hey, let's finish the game. Finish it off the right way. Let's
play the right way. You respect the game will respect you. Maybe that's just, it's 2025 and that's not the way it's done anymore.
I'm gonna tell you this story because it's funny going back to college. So when I was in college, I took a basketball class.
Okay.
And it was done by assistant coach Randy Will. And he would always talk about, Dean Smith would say, like, it's really important when you're playing these games, the way that we finish. Like, if you're up by 20, you want to finish the game winning by 25. You don't want to hold on and win by 10, because the next time you play that team, they can say, like, man, if we just had a little more time, we can beat him. We want to crush him. And the Dodgers being like, yeah, we don't subscribe to that theory. Like, you beat us today, but it has no carryover effect on what's going to happen down the line.
Well, like, I look at it,
which is odd.
It's just weird. Like, I look at it from a positive standpoint. Like, the Padres are kind of a win one, lose one. This is what they've been. They'll do some stuff at the deadline, but they have no catcher. They have no left fielder. Like, they've got holes in their lineup. And then like Tatis and Merrill, their stars they're off right now, but it's baseball. So, all these guys kind of go through these things. But I will say this, like with the manager there with Mike Schilt, like if they're down 5-1, they always somehow they'll be in the 9th inning. They'll have the tying run come to the plate. Now they might not climb the mountain, and they haven't done it as much this year. But I almost am like, that's probably a good sign for them long term, that like they're kind of always giving themselves a chance. Like that's kind of all you can do, and then the ball's going to fall or it's not going to fall. But you got to give yourself a chance. Whereas the Dodgers just like, screw it, man. We don't care about this game. We're 20 games over 500. Let's just get to tomorrow.
Yeah, it is a funny and fascinating thing to watch how people approach those blowout games. Like, do we play to the end, or do we just like, whatever?
I think it's because we are in a sport with such few games. Like in the NFL, you can't give away a game. There's 17 of them. You can't afford to give those away.
Yeah, everything matters. Like when you have 162, you can be like, nah.
Yeah, it's different. Hey, it's work for them. All right, that's going to do it for us today. We covered football, golf, and baseball. Just a typical July episode of Move the Sticks.
Why not? I mean, that's where we're in. Dead season.
That's where it is. Talk about barbecue. No, actually, we have Rhett coming on. Talk about the quarterbacks. We'll do that next time. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you next time right here on Move the Sticks.